Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamila Pula and here's what we have in the bulletin. Public commentators demand clear CARICOM U.S. strategy. Domestic abuse still a major concern. Justice Minister calls on victims to seek help. And later in sports, Treasure Beach gets first win in 4 games in the JPL. Know the details. The trial of alleged Klansman gang leader Tesha Miller and 24 co-accused is now scheduled for February 2. This after prosecutors admitted they were not ready due to incomplete evidence. Justice Dale Palmer postponed the proceedings, citing missing DNA samples, cell phone forensics, cybercrime analysis, and pre-trial transcripts. The accused face charges including murder, attempted murder, robbery, and illegal firearms possession linked to 16 incidents and up to 99 witnesses between 2017 and 2022. 2 public commentators are now raising concerns about a clear pathway for engagement with the United States. This is amid pressure from the Trump administration. The comments were made Sunday on Radio Jamaica's weekly news review program, That's a Wrap. Anthony Atkinson has the details.
The call comes in the wake of the U.S. invasion of Venezuela, which resulted in the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. Public commentator Latoya West Blackwood warned that the development carries serious implications for regional stability and security. She says silence from CARICOM in response to U.S. actions in the region will not shield Caribbean states from fallout.
So what concerns me is that silence is not going to be a pathway to protection in this current scenario. It's just a matter of wait and see, and the level of vulnerability that exists between, public health shocks in the last 5 to 6 years and the economic realities of the global market, and then looking at us being on the front line of climate change. And then when you add in the realities of our regional failure when it comes to travel. So there are some very real threats that exist.
Attorney at law Nicole Gordon says the region must clearly and collectively articulate its diplomatic stance.
Former Prime Minister Golding made an important parallel, which I don't think you had read that part of it, but he made an important parallel and scary parallel, quite frankly, with World War II. Now, my understanding of World War II, it was about a few things at the core: territorial expansion, racism, and nationalism in the face of a weak international structure. The problem there is the first response of some of the countries were what? Appeasement?
Gordon is urging regional leaders to remain firmly guided by principle. She cautioned that politics should not come at the expense of core values.
Some of our former leaders play a zero-sum game. You can choose not to be aggressive. You can choose to appease. You can choose to agree with everything. But once it is that you accept loyalty over rules, over principles, over friendship, what it means is that whatever it is that you choose, once you lose on any one of those, you can be dragged out of your bed. And when it is that you decide that you're going to rescind your principles and you don't resort at all to your principles, you will not succeed.
Anthony Atkinson, TVJ News.
The National Works Agency says it has conducted another inspection of the Spring Mount Main Road in St. James. Sections of the road collapsed during Hurricane Melissa. Alia Bryant reports.
It's a dangerous trek to school for students who have to traverse the Spring Mount Main Road in St. James. The road was rendered impassable following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Still, residents risk their lives daily, whether day or night. National Works Agency Communications Manager Stephen Shaw says the NAA is actively working to provide a safer alternative.
Surveys have been done, critical engineering work that is necessary to come up with an appropriate design those activities are well on the way.
Additionally, Mr. Shaw says an island-wide patching program is set to be launched following inspections of roadways damaged by the storm.
We are well aware of some of the issues that persons have been having using corridors around the country, and this work that we are going to be doing, the first tranche valued at $1 billion, we are going to be using same to address some of those concerns coming out of the passage of Hurricane Melissa.
He's also imploring drivers and pedestrians not to ignore the warning signs at either end of the road, noting that anyone choosing to travel the area does so at their own risk.
There are 2 signs at either end of the breakaway indicating that the road is closed. And I don't think that anyone who has the gift of sight can miss the 2 signs that are there. Either they are coming from the direction of Point, or they are coming from the direction of Montego Bay. The signs are there, and so there is no excuse by anyone to say that they would have missed the fact that the road is closed owing to a lack of sign.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
Vice Chair of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones, is raising concerns about the poor conditions of the country's roads. This following a deadly crash on the weekend on the border of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. Kimberly Petty reports.
This is something that we have to get a grip on and fix quickly.
That charge from Dr. Lucian Jones, a Vice Chair of the National Road Safety Council, about the condition of the nation's roads. Dr. Jones is of the belief that some of them are not safe for the motoring public. His criticism came as 4 females, including 3 children, were killed in a crash on the weekend. According to reports, the driver of a Toyota Voxy minivan was heading in the direction of Santa Cruz when it collided with a utility truck heading in the opposite direction. Dr. Jones said while the police theorized that the incident could have been as a result of the driver swerving to avoid a pothole, a thorough investigation will be needed to ascertain the cause of the collision. Bad roads aside, Dr. Jones pointed to other safety concerns coming out of this tragic accident.
In addition to the possible unsafe roads, the police report also suggested that the driver was driving at an unsafe speed. Again, further investigations are to come.
He further reasoned that
if 4 people died in one crash, we have to wonder whether or not they were unsafe road users, in a sense of whether or not they were buckled up in front and back. And finally, was it a safe vehicle? Did the airbags deploy? And if they did, why did 4 people die just like that?
Kimberly Petty for TVJ News.
A motorist in St. Mary was injured in what is being described as a freak accident in the parish recently. The man was traveling on a motorbike along the Prospect Main Road heading towards Ocherius when a branch from a tree hanging over the roadway broke off. The branch struck the motorist, knocking him off his bike. The injured man is calling on the authorities to address the issue.
When me a rider come on, me just see this and leave me just tear down, drop down right from me off of my bike. Big old giant, look for the limit and road. See a no star. Very bike mash up, that are the most damage, and me get a scratch up. That are the most. My bike mash up, whoever compensate me for this now.
The Custos of Trelawney is calling for stronger community action against crime. He says crime remains a serious threat in the parish, although it's not as significant as other parishes.
Trelawney has been relatively quiet as it relates to serious crime, but concerns remain about gang-related incidents. Custos of Trelawney Hugh Gentles says they involve mostly young people, though only a small minority are offenders.
The justices of the peace have alerted all of them to the fact that they must assist the police in whatever way they can. And as soon as there are issues in the parish, there to alert the police to what's going on.
He says a stronger parental control is critical as families play a key role in prevention. He also says justices of the peace have also been asked to work more closely with the police. Now, according to the Custos, better coordination will help authorities track and manage crime trends more effectively.
It is one of the issues that is highlighted, I should say. Parents need to control the kids some more. And I can recall, I'll just share a brief little humorous story with you. I myself have 3 boys and some nephews, and they're all of the same age, and they used to play a lot. And once the plumber was there, and he came to me and he says, look, you need to control those children, because if you don't, the government will. So I would say to parents, control your kids. Try and instill the right values.
The Custos wants stakeholders and the citizens to be more proactive to prevent bigger problems later.
You can see all the trials that has been going on in the Supreme Court of gangs, and it is something that is just happening. And I know MOCA and the other police agencies are working to infiltrate these gangs and to dismantle them. And we can only hope that the police are successful, and what we as citizens can do is to give them as much help and information as is possible.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck is again appealing to victims of domestic abuse to seek help. This amid concerns that cases remain alarmingly high. Mr. Chuck says there are still far too many incidents being reported, raising serious concern about the safety of victims across the country. The Justice Minister stressed that domestic abuse is a critical national issue that requires urgent and sustained action.
And is a woman. It must stop. While you can run away from the fist of the woman frequently can't run away. But it is important, Justice of the Peace, that you assist in directing families in dispute or who have unstable relationship to seek counseling.
He also called on justices of the peace to play a more active role in tackling domestic violence. According to Mr. Chuck, their responsibilities extend beyond simply signing documents.
We have a justice centers in every parish. We have victim services, restorative justice, mediation, and other forms of counseling that we can use to assist families in dispute. And Justice of the Peace, their commissioner is here. I always preach that the JP, from 800 years ago in the beginning, they were the ones who ensured that there was justice and peace in the counties and boroughs of England and the UK. And we have adopted that.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
Dollar has announced the successful close of its public bond offering. In a statement, the company said the offer, which was made under a bond prospectus dated October 7, 2025, officially closed at 4:30 last Friday afternoon. Dollar says details on the basis of allotment for public bonds will be published on the Jamaica Stock Exchange's website within the next 7 business days. The company, along with the lead broker Mayfair Investments, described the bond offer as successful. And further afield, Macy's plans to close 14 of its stores in 12 states across the country. The company says the closures are a part of Macy's strategy to shrink its footprint in the United States. The department store chain says its goal is to better serve customers and support long-term growth. And the closures will allow Macy's to invest in more stores that are doing well and expand its digital presence. Nearly 2 years ago, the company announced plans to close 150 underperforming stores by the end of the year. For the Business Minute, I'm Antonia Atkinson.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the Antigua and Barbuda government has released a letter sent to the United States outlining concerns over accepting third country refugees. Prime Minister Gaston Brown says the letter sent last August shows his administration's willingness to cooperate while clearly setting limits. He stressed only vetted refugees and asylum seekers with no criminal records would be considered, dismissing opposition claims as misinformation and assuring the public that national security remains the priority. And on the international scene, the death toll continues to rise as anti-government protests sweep Iran. Hundreds have been killed and thousands arrested as demonstrations enter a third week. President Donald Trump says Iran has reached out to negotiate, even as his administration considers possible military action. Iranian officials warn U.S. military bases and shipping lanes would be targeted if Washington intervenes. Protests are also spreading overseas, including in the United States, as calls for change grew louder. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aliyah Bryant.
Thank you, Alia. We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.